It's very possible. I mean, there's also a... No, that's a 0 chance that we'll have 3 ghosts on one team. Like, no way could someone else on Burning Core
I don't know.
that.
Maybe Ghost Karthus get into the middle of the team as quickly as possible. We'll find out in a few seconds' time as we are jumping on in for Rascal Jester versus Burning Core.
Well, let's see if anything's spicy. I'll be honest, with the Karthus in this matchup, Hatchemecha should be looking to hard punish early game, at least with some form of effectiveness. But the issue is, I want to say punish, and I want to be like, oh yeah, do X, Y, and Z, let's go, go, go. But you can't, because you're a Poppy. So where's your power coming from? Because you don't have it natively in your kit. You need normally assistance with that one. So unless Hatchemecha has assistance with Ino or Recap, it's going to be hard for them to actually find that. And looking over this, the only interesting thing is actually we've gone for souls instead of for flawless, instead of actually going for that first strike to get the extra gold, which is interesting.
Wants a bit more damage on the back half rather than right at the start of fights. We did actually see a ward being swept out in that bot lane by Rascal Jester, and the XP actually went over to Recap. So that means that he's going to hit level 2 in mid off the first wave, which can be so important when you're playing against something like a Tryndamere that wants to do stuff like that to you continuously. Yeah,
this lane's going to be messy. I feel like that's the only way for me to state it. I believe it's very slightly Tryndamere favored throughout the first few. Well, no, I believe the first few levels it's Rise favored once he has 3, and then after 3 it then goes back to and then once you hit 6 it goes Graves. It goes back to Tryndamere favored, not Graves. Well, he's out of this game. God, I'm still because Sin is still like mental booming me, and I'm not V3. That's the crazy thing, mate. Like that's how good he was in that match. But then once he hits 6, you then get Tryndamere gets an actual option because of the ultimate.
This is so cool.
But I love this from Flawless.
Yeah, recognizing that Hatchemecha is going to be on that slower clear, starting on the top side and doing it leashless, so could just go away and steal the Raptors so easily, and that's exactly what you want to be doing on the Karthus, farming up without interacting with the enemy jungler.
I mean, could you talk about a whistle or... Like I felt Flawless whistling. I heard it as the Karthus went over. And what that means is, I mean, Karthus just wants to hit 6. Like, that's how Karthus works as a jungler. He's just like, I'm going to farm, and then I'm just going to do fat stack damage whenever I can. Meaning that from a Burning Core perspective, ladies and gentlemen, they're not looking to fight unless they think they can win. Like, objectively, like, they're not going to be limit testing unless they actually think they've got the win. And that's what's going to be happening in this match. I mean, it's expected that Rayfaki is going to be going for that hull breaker, as we've seen before on previous Dariuses from him. So he's just going to want to farm up and just split push for as long as possible. Flawless just wants to farm, and they know this, so Rascal Jester want to punish.
This is going to be a risky dive. Jin and Leona, not easy to take down in these scenarios. Secret flashing forward, but a good response flash from Muhi. But it's still the Leona getting pulled in, but goes back under the tower. First blood for the Rise, but traded back.
And it does end up being Fujimoto getting the full proprietor of that gold. But hey, you can't be too unhappy with that.
He's a level down on Eno, but I don't think he cares. Forces the flash out from the Renekton.
And he's got flash still. He's got Ghost still, and I mean, it's not unlike Rayfaki to flash, rend, pull back, Q in, and I know can only slice and dice and pray to get out of that. It doesn't look like he's going for it, and I think what his idea is that he wants to back now, run back into the lane as we come into this replay. I mean, Fujimoto we called him out as being a strong player, and he's now on a champion we haven't seen since Academy. The fact that he immediately Zenith Blade back over to trade, disgusting. Yeah. Actual disgusting.
Burning Core's bot lane understood the assignment, and the assignment was weak side, and they played it out pretty well. Still a kill onto Recap, who has looked incredible so far this split, and we'll have to track if he can use that advantage. Hatchemecha, once again, pathing towards this bot side. We'll spot out this control ward that Fujimoto has laid, as well as Flawless, who's just starting up this grump.
I mean, this is part of the idea. Bully the Karthus, because early games, Karthus can't do anything versus this Poppy outside of just kind of look a bit impotent.
Fujimoto jumped onto by Secret. Does have that aftershock, so survives a little bit longer, but when you get tackled into a wall like that, there is no hope. Burning Core not really able to respond to these plays, and it's another kill for Rascal Jester.
Yeah, and half of the reason is Recap is just playing around the map fantastically at the moment, and Dice is struggling to pull him back into these lanes at this moment in time. So, I mean, that's where it's going to come down to, but I mean, every time, as I mentioned, Rise is better in this laning phase pre-6 because until you get the ultimate, he'll get out, mate. He got flash. Oh, wait, maybe not.
Secret might not. He doesn't have flash. Dice is already ghosting down as Rayfarky winning Ido under the tower in top lane. Flashes away and secures the solo kill. Secret broken the aftershock with that pulverize, but I think he recognizes there is no hope for him. Just donate the kill over to Flawless.
So smartly done as well. Yuhi and Dice both stopped. Give Flawless those kills because that's what you want. You want to actually funnel a lot of your gold early game into this Karthus because the earlier you can get Karthus online, oh my god, does every member of Rascal Jesters now become immediately panicked whenever it comes in. But Middlecop, do what you do best and talk me through this.
Yeah, it's kind of just Rayfarky running down Ino. The stun comes through, but the apprehend and the stacks adding up. This is why you don't want to be in a long lane versus a Darius. And the crucial thing is Rayfarky gets 6 at the end of this play. He didn't have to invest ultimate. Yes, he used both his summoner spells, but he's still got a lot of kill threat for the next minute or so.
Thank you for doing that, by the way. I love hearing you do what you do best, mate. Aria, what are you doing is now immortalized, and I've got to call out, obviously, LJL you was featured on a LOL esports and Riot Japan video, so and Middlecop was featured in that screaming that immortal line. So I mean, hey, gotta call it out, mate. For anyone that hasn't watched it, go over to LOL esports. It's on their YouTube page. It's their most recent video, and yes, LJL casters are in it. But coming back to this match in question. You want to put as much gold into the Flawless bag as you can early game because the faster he's online, the faster more damage will do, and you get to tear through certain members, specifically Soul. Because if you prevent Soul from turning online, Rascal Jester's insurance policy actually defaults. They don't actually have it. They didn't pay their bills, and Yuki actually gets to do more damage and actually gets to do things in this game. And it's like, great, yeah, you took out the Jhin. You took them out because you don't have an AD carry, so what does it matter? They're trading advantage. Flawless now has 6, so it's going to be a big one to watch as this Dragon's going to be started up for the second time this game.
Yeah, and lane priority in the mid lane and in the bot lane means that nothing really that Burning Core can do to answer this. I also want to shout out a little bit of that CS difference. We're seeing Soul up 20, 25 CS on Yuhi. Yeah, there's been a lot of pressure onto that Jhin, but this is the sort of thing that Yuhi was known for in previous splits. He's cleaned it up a lot recently, but you get one game every so often.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to highlight another way location on this map. Recap.
Not going to get it.
The player I want to highlight.
Oh, he's actually going to robot forward here onto Flawless. No flash available on this Karthus, but you don't have the follow-up and the damage. A little bit of a waste there.
Yeah, huge waste. And I wanted to highlight that, Recap had been playing so fantastically this mid lane because look at, he's got a CS advantage in a lane he's been roaming away from, and Dice hasn't really had much of an opportunity to really help out his team outside of what happened around the mid lane. So at this moment, well, actually when he rotated around to that bot lane, but outside of that, it's kind of like, okay, I mean, this Tryndamere will outscale a Rise in just a 1v1 setting, and I mean, the fact is that Yuki's getting a plate is actually really good for him. Did have to share it with Fujimoto, not so good. Remember, First Blood did go over to Fujimoto, well, actually, he traded back that kill that went all that time ago over to Recap, so now it's kind of in an awkward spot, but look at that, that's a Fnatic brush.
Yeah, Flawless going unspotted. Eno does have the flash and will be able to slice and dice himself away, but gets apprehended. Rayfarky now running under the tower. Noxian Guillotine comes down, and it's a second kill for Rayfarky's Darius.
Flawless wasn't allowed that one. Did you see that? The old channel, and I was like, nope, not allowed it. My kill. Fantastic. I mean, that's just more gold going in. This Hullbreaker will get finished earlier. It's actually, now that I look at it, is that the build path for Hullbreaker?
That is the build path, yeah.
That is the build.
Phage and a pickaxe goes into the Hullbreaker. This was so clean, though.
I'm just so used to people building pickaxe first and not actually having the phage part normally this early on. But I mean, that's what happens when you're Rayfarky. That apprehend was clean, Rayfarky. So clean, but it's like this is one of your best champions. It might be your best champion. And while the LEC have Adam, Adam still has a few things to learn because he's not Ray Farkey quite yet.
Yeah. Ray Farkey's Darius actually wins games. Let's be real. Let's be real. Shots fired. Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, yeah, actually true. Like, Ray Farkey has had to do that on Burning Core when they've been in very losing scenarios, whereas Adam has struggled to find that on BDS. But this isn't LEC versus LJL, though. You know what? I would watch the crap out of that middle court. That sounds like we'd have some banger matches.
We'll get a little bit of a sneak peek at it at MSI. I don't think that we're going to have any LCS, LCO shenanigans with regions being merged. Although we are seeing some shenanigans in this bot lane. Yuhi flashes away from the tackle, but he just gets pulverized. It's going to be a trade kill though for Fujimoto as Dice is actually roaming down. Solar Flare available for the Leona. Do they want to go for this? Doesn't look likely. Flawless is walking up, though, and Fujimoto is stancing, but they're just going to take the 1-for-1.
What a like, Fujimoto, you need to, like, regardless of how this game goes, your Leona needs to now be respected, that you actually have more than, like, 2 champions. Now, we've confirmed this now. I mean, we thought we knew, because we watched you in Academy, but Ray Farkey, man, I know has a family, man.
Apparently, but he's not going to see them for much longer. Beautiful dominance, actually, to keep himself alive through that Noxing guillotine, but you're still being pressured out so much. That teleport nearly off of cooldown, so we'll be able to re-enter the top lane without losing too much CS, but this is what Ray Farkey does on Darius. He just bullies you. He just puts himself between you and the minion wave and says, no, you are fighting me, and you do lose.
And what means this? It means Ino had the decision when he went back. Do you want to TP? Or do you not? Do you want to just lose the CS? He's decided to TP. He won't be around for this dragon that's coming up in 50 seconds, which now means he's going to have to make the decision of, okay, do I want to clear this wave, clear the next wave, push it out as far as I can, and then rotate around to help my team? Or am I just committing to the idea? And that's what the calls were, because he actually stood there for a few seconds. Normally, top laners make the instant decision. He actually stood there on his fountain trying to figure out, where am I going to go? He decided he want to pull it, and is now like, okay, if I do this, will Ray Farkey rotate around? Currently, Ray Farkey hasn't, and I mean, he's finished that Hullbreaker, so I mean, he's got no interest in rotating around.
Yeah, not at all. Whilst Burning Kuro definitely winning the top side, Rascal Jesters have got all the pressure on the south side of the Rift. Not going to go for another dive there. We'll just summon the Rift Herald. Secure a little bit of priority. It means that you can pick up your second Drake of the game. Yuhi taking that zap could put him in a little bit of danger, but Soul and Secret do not want to overstep. Flawless is shadowing the bot lane, but still, it's Yuhi taking a lot of damage. A couple of plates funneled over to the Rascal Jester bot side as Dyson Ray Farkey actually in the mid lane now. It looks like Bennincourt do want to contest this.
I mean, it's not unsurprising. I mean, if you look at it, Dice has been mostly ignored about this, but he's getting to that point now. We've got a level 10 Tryndamere. This is starting where you start going, base raw stats of a Tryndamere is now slightly scary, especially when you consider that Soul is 9. Dice could definitely just jump on top of him and remove him on his own. Like, he offers that pressure now, and I mean, he can easily do that to recap if he had to.
Yeah, the Flash and the Ghost and the, the Gale Force hasn't come through quite yet, but offer significant amount of target access. Rascal Jester will be forced to approach this dragon from opposite directions as Dice is hiding himself over the wall. The Keeper's Verdict coming out, throwing Flawless away, and that means that Rascal Jester get an easy Drake, but do they get the fight? Double knock-up into double choppers is a good start. Here comes the Requiem, but it's not a level 11 Requiem. It doesn't do too much damage just yet, although Dice still wants to go forward. The Gale Force used by Yuhi. The Undying Rage keeps the Tryndamere alive, and Burning Core get a trade kill and walk it out.
Support for support, but you still mentioned it. They were able to poppy out and get Flawless out of that dragon pit and secure the dragon for themselves. Rascal Jester still coming out on top, even though the end of that fight didn't quite go the way they wanted it to do. And I mean, part of that was just the sheer power that Dice actually offered on this Tryndamere. As we come into this fantastic realm warp, and there's not really an easy way that Tryndamere can get them out, but it's all on this poppy. It's literally, this is why DFM keep drafting this champion, ladies and gentlemen. Why else would you do it? Fantastic performance from the side of Rascal Jester to find this kill. And the issue is, after they had used so much here, They don't really have anything. They've used all their ultimates. They haven't got many actual summoner spells. So they should have actually disengaged far harder than they actually planned on doing it. The problem is they didn't really have many disengage buttons because it's all kind of on recap with the Rise ultimate to either be that get in button or to get out button. But hey, Rascal Jester rotated around and are going to get this Rift Herald anyway.
Yeah, free objective pickup. They've actually been pretty hot on the objectives in this early game. 2 Drakes. I believe they Oh, that is the first Rift Herald, so we'll be able to pick that one.
No, that second one, they used the first one, remember, in the bot side.
They did use the first one. Yeah,
because they funneled it onto Soul. I remember you saying that.
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't
you
remember
did.
me saying that, but apparently it happened.
You did, yes.
So good objective control by Rascal Jester. Still in a gold deficit, though. Maybe this additional pressure, these additional stats, will be something that they can rely on in the mid game. Not quite sure what soul that we've got on the Rift. There we are. So it is going to be that cloud. So ultimate cooldown. No, it's not ultimate cooldown anymore. It's slow resist and a little bit of movement speed.
It's a need for speed. I mean, if any of these teams would like it more, it would definitely be Burning Core. Like, gotta go fast. Karthus is a terrifying thing when the Reaper is running at you fast and then just in the middle of your team just goes, I'm dead, that's fine, and just like kills everyone and then ults afterwards. It's like, okay. What I mean, having a fast Tryndamere or I mean, we've all played Earth. You've played Earth, haven't you?
On occasion, I've been known to.
Have you ever played against a Jhin in an Earth? Moving around at Mark 5.
I don't feel like played is the most correct word because I've seen a Jhin in Earth for brief moments of time. He appears on my screen, deals half of my HP and damage, and then leaves.
Yes, that's what he gets to do with a Cloud Soul when he ultimates afterwards. He just gets his ult and then just goes, I'm going to fuck off afterwards. And then just smacks people. Genuinely does that.
I want to see that. I want to see he just pop the ult for the movement speed.
I mean, he's popped ults for stupider reasons, mate, and I definitely know that for sure. So, I mean, hey, it would be a beneficial reason to do so. But at this moment in time, Burning Core still yet to get an objective actually on this board. They haven't secured any of them outside of a few kills. And I mean, a lot of the gold, actually, as we come back around to that point that you so perfectly set me up for earlier, it's all coming through this jungle advantage that Flawless has been able to gain, as well as also this top advantage, but not so much in top because there's not a huge gold advantage outside of a few turret plates and that. I mean, this is going to be first turret as well for Rascal Jester. They're all about the objectives.
Yeah, pretty late at 17.5 minutes, but they might be able to trade it into another one. Flawless forced to flash away from the chompers, but we're starting to see Rose coming through. Secret with the engage under the tower, but it doesn't really connect, and now Burning Core could look to do some damage. Here comes the Requiem from Flawless. Exhaust onto Dite at the start of the fight as he's forced to ultimate very, very early. Out goes the Poppycopterers, out goes the Tryndamere as well. I know, flashing forward, but doesn't quite have the damage. Tryndamere now going to be able to pull him back as the Apprehend comes through, takes him away from the Realm Warp, and it's 2 kills for Burning Core.
And 40 seconds just before this Dragon's coming up, meaning that the side of Rascal Jester, they have to decide, hey, do we actually want to fight this one, or is actually a little bit lost at this moment in time? And you know what? We won't have Ino unless we want to blow the TP. Is it worth them? This is the question they're going to have to ask, but no! Burning Core, you're resetting too late. Oh my god, we're coming into this replay, but Burning Core are now actually resetting, and it doesn't matter. The fact that they blew Flawless's flash was just, I mean, Soul is just so good at this champion. He's so clean. The issue that Burning Core realistically actually have here is, it's great. Dice is here and kind of throwing them out. But you want Rayfaki here at the very beginning. You want him to be there, so they have to blow the Poppy ult almost immediately. That Poppy ult was probably going to be aimed for Dice, but they just were like, hey, we can get the full health Rayfaki. This is way better. Discoordination, honestly, from Burning Core. They won that fight, but it could have been better. This Dragon's here, and because they reset so late after that fight, they didn't make a split-second decision. Rascal Jester is still getting this Dragon.
That's a little bit illegal, honestly, considering how well Burning Core played out that fight. But I think the key thing for me is that whilst Rascal Jesters are getting the objective, it is Burning Core who are winning these fights. And you have to say that their composition scales pretty damn well with this Karth, as Rascal Jesters definitely no slouches with the Rise and the Jinx. So the intricacies of these team fights as we get later and later into the game become oh so important, oh so crucial. One flash can mean the difference between you losing and winning the game.
And that's the big point, right? Because ultimately, it's going to never be fair. Because Rascal Jester have shown they are not interested in playing a quote-unquote fair team fight. Hachimecha will absolutely ult one of your key members of your team fight. Like, they haven't accidentally ulted a Fujimoto yet. And until they do that... or Yuhi, for instance, right? They're the two players you don't really want to ult away, because you can probably kill them or just get through them, or you're really happy because it's Yuhi and you're like, sick, we get to kill them. Secret is on the lookout, and I mean, Dice is playing pretty deep with some good vision, but now a lot of that vision has been taken away, so he's going to have to figure out a way to split push more effectively. But oh, wait, opposite side of the map. Rayfaki's already doing that, so we've got a 1-3-1 idea coming out from the side of Burning Core, which is a bit surprising, because wouldn't have put them down for really being a 1-3-1 comp, especially what Rascal Jester have drafted, and I would say Rascal Jester have got the easier comp to actually execute on if that's how Burning Core want to play this game.
Nice forced to spinning slash away there. Rayfaki doing absolute disgusting amount of damage to this bot lane tower. I know forced to slice himself out if he doesn't want to get pressured down, and Yuhi looking to pressure onto this mid lane tower as well. Now we're starting to see these objectives getting traded. Secret thinking about it in the mid lane. Gale Force available for Yuhi, but no summoners. So not quite as safe as he would like to be on that Jhin. We've entered into a slight lull state now. Nothing too much to fight over, but has that ever stopped the LJL in the past? I don't think so. We are getting a TP as Hachimecha is running down Yuhi. Rayfaki is on the other side as it's just going to be a free pick onto that Leona. It's not going to translate into too much more, but actually pigs are going down onto the Baron, and with the big engage tool down for Burning Core, maybe Rascal Jester can actually do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was fantastic. Find one of the members. I love the fact that Rascal Jester fully understand that it's like, hey, we find one of their members, we have Hachimecha ult to ult out the other member, and we should just win. We can just take this objective. Burning Core, it's on the question for you to find out how you want to do it. Yuhi ulting is not the solution. It's not the tool which actually wins you this game, though.
I know, knocked up. Very low on the Renekton, but does have a lot of fury. Access to the Dominus too, and I think it might just be enough for Burning Core to dissuade the Rascal Jester start. Resets are going to come through now, but they're not going to be punished. That was close, but ultimately I think that's the correct call for RJ.
I would have loved a burger flip, but I just don't think they were they were killing that Baron anywhere near as fast as they needed to. They just don't quite have that damage at this moment in time. And I mean, when you look at it, look at what Soul has built so far. That is not a Baron taking quick build. No. That is Ruinous Hydra second item is not that. It's a team fight build. That is but a BF sword, that's far more of a Baron taking build. So. Maybe next time, maybe when he's got that 3 item spike. We're at 2.5, that's fantastic. 3 items is where we really start doing it. You know who has got 3 items though in this game for Rascal Jester? It's Recap, and he's been having a stellar performance this whole game, playing around the team fights, moving around for objectives, and he really helped get that bot lane for Rascal Jester going in the early game.
And that may precipitate over into some more advantages here, because Cloud Soul is up for Rascal Jester in a minute's time. Burning Core haven't been too keen to contest a lot of these Drake takes, and that's put them in a position where they now are forced to contest this one. They're moving into the river, trying to deny as much vision as they can. Hachimecha is stood quite far up. Yuhi just clearing in the mid lane a little bit, and with that priority, Rascal Jesters are able to just walk back into the river and clear out all the wards just the same.
Yeah, not playing these side lanes at all are Burning Core, which they were doing a lot more before. I feel like the pressure of this Soul is kind of putting them in this weird spot where they're like, we want to play the side lane still, because that's kind of what our whole composition is aimed to do, but we've now caught ourselves in a spot where the objective and the mutual objective is now, and we've got to do it.
Yeah, they're going for Hachimecha. The curtain call opened up as Recap is on the other side. So a lot of shots fired into Secret's back, who hasn't used the Unbreakable Will just yet, so still can offer that tankiness in the team fights. There goes the Realm Warp, and they've dodged away from the damage! That's so crucial. That means that your Alistar has got a little bit of HP. Flawless doesn't have too much. Out comes the Locket of the Iron Slurry to keep him tanked up. Pulling in Recap is not necessarily the target that you want. The Keeper's Verdict fired up, but not used. Dice now on the wrong side as Secret doesn't get the combo off, and now Recap is jumped onto the other side. It's such a split fight, and it's going for Burning Core in the start. Eno taken out before he could really contribute anything, as Recap is going to be the next focus. The phase rush is down, and the rise will be falling. So Yuhi, though, 1v3 on the other side of the map, charging up those shots, looking to deal the damage. Flashes forward! But he doesn't get the auto, but the Gale Force will take them down nonetheless. Burning Core at the 11th hour grab their 11th kill and their first Drake.
Oh, you leave it, risk it, and everything else, but DICE played fantastically once they had got multiple members of Rascal Jester down low, was constantly threatening and jostling for position and forcing Rascal Jester to make the hard decision, to make the hard calls, which they didn't want to make. And importantly enough, DICE still hasn't burned that ultimate. He can still actually hang around and help this team out. Baron was thankfully secured for them, so Sol, fantastic attempt. He popped that ultimate just before, but let's come into this replay because I really want to highlight DICE specifically and Ray Farkey as well. Because look at this, Ray Farkey, Recap is using a bunch and then he has to run away because he knows he can't handle this. DICE is clearing out this mid wave as Yuki ultimates and kind of zones them. These are the two groups because I love this. Pop the ultimate and it's like, okay, now what can Rascal Jester do? How can they actually control this? Well, because every time they move forward, they see DICE in that bush, and then they go, oh yeah, but we want to engage, but we don't want to because if we go too deep, then Sol's gonna get attacked onto, and Hachimecha like channels the ultimate for ages, and then he's like, actually, if DICE comes in, I can't move forward, and it was constantly this and that, this and that.
TP, Ino is looking for DICE, flashes forward with a Ruthless Predator, forces that flash out the Tryndamere as well. It's a big investment for Rascal Jester, but ultimately they don't get too much from it.
And this is a Baron buff, like Burning Core just continuously go back to exactly what they were doing before. Recap does have the Rise ultimate, so remember that's always something you need to be worried about, that potentially 2 or 3 members of Rascal Jester could just come from actually anywhere. But look at this, Flawless is playing so far up and he's playing the vision game. He's like, no, come and deal with me, come and deal with me.
They're looking for Ray Farkey. 5 members of Rascal Jester on the bot side, but no CC is connected just yet. And they don't get a damn thing. Oh, it's a disaster, Marswan.
But look at this now, Yuki's left alone in the top side, and look at where DICE is. They're just eating their jungle, and they're gonna brute force everything. I love this. Yuki, give him as much local gold onto that turret. Now let's force this next one. Look at where Ray Farkey is. He's gonna continuously keep taking that jungle, and he's gonna go back and now push that. It's a disaster for Rascal Jester. It went from bad to actually worse.
Somehow the push and the pull from Burning Core has been oh so clean. Rascal Jester's shot cooling in the early game, you have to say, was pretty damn good. There were some great responses from Fujimoto, especially with those bot lane dives, but it was Rascal Jester making the proactive plays, and they're looking for another one onto Ray Farkey, knocked into the wall. Does have those bonus resistances from the Hullbreaker, so it's going to be very difficult to actually take down this Darius, but when you've got 5 people, it becomes a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, and I think his Ghost was just about to come up. But the fact is, that Baron buff is another 30 seconds left. Realistically, what was Ray Farkey going to get more out of that 30 seconds outside of maybe pressure on one of the side lanes? Would have been nice to obviously not have him dying to give that shutdown gold over. But, I mean, when you're kind of weighing everything else up, it took multiple members of Rascal Jester several seconds to kill him. That's not good. He's not built to be a tank. He's built to be a brawler. And this is not... He went Trinity Force. Like, he's not gone for the tank option. And they took multiple members seconds to actually kill him. Rascal Jester probably needed to be going 911 going, what's your emergency? Yeah, we can't kill Ray Farkey. Okay, what about the rest of your team? Yeah, no. We can't kill Ray Farkey.
Hold on. I just like the idea of you calling the police saying that you can't kill someone.
Yeah, I can't kill this Darius, man.
They're like, what? Damn, great.
Has he stole? Is it actually a Silas? And did he steal a Tryndamere ultimate? No, officer, no. It's worse. He just won't die. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how the phone call goes. This has been Mars Swan with your acting 101 cast for.
That was brilliant. I believed it.
I mean,
I was like, damn. Not only is Lexi an entire Japanese League of Legends team. He's also a police officer. It is very, very impressive. Cloud Drake spawning in 40 seconds time. Vertical once again making their way over. I think that the power levels are a little bit more skewed in their favor with that 6k gold advantage. But Rascal Jester, being on that sell point, know that they don't actually need to take it out and can just trade for mid lane priority. This is a very good response. And now, how is Burning Core going to turn it around? Opening up with these ultimates once again, the Curtain Call and the Requiem. Ray Farkey is going to be the initial focus. Doesn't have the initial bonuses, but he still gets out. He still gets the Noxian Guillotine. And it's all Burning Core for now. The Ghost has been popped. Flawless flashing forward onto Soul, who doesn't have a hope in hell, will be flashing away. Cleanses that one beautifully, but buddy, you're just going to get Gale Force from a million miles away. Recap, trying to phase rush himself out, goes into the speedy zone, but Ray Farkey is also pretty rapid himself. Apprehended, taken out, taken down. Hatchemetcha, the last one standing.
Burning Core looking decisive now with their actions, and these players around the map, they're feeling themselves. You know that confidence, and I feel like the Darius swagger animation perfectly cements how Burning Core are currently feeling with how they're walking around this map. They own this rift, and Rascal Jester, that was a fantastic attempt at a fight. But sadly, Ray Farkey, you put so much into him. He's not built tank, and you couldn't kill him. Fantastic from the side of Burning Core, and now the question becomes, Rascal Jester, what's the comeback now?
It's a difficult one because this is what they were trying to do. They were trying to do objective trading. They were doing what they're supposed to, but Burning Core just turn it around and take such a clean fight.
Yeah, and so much damage just early gets put into into Ray Farkey, who can just heal it up, because guess what? That's what Q does for him. I mean, Dice getting kicked out is probably really, really good, but at the same time, you probably actually wanted to do it to Ray Farkey or to somebody else that's actually full health. I don't know.
Gross.
It's so disgusting, and the fact is, everything was working out. He did pop Ghost here. Ray Farkey did pop Ghost here.
He's speedy.
But, I mean, even with that, it's like, is that kind of, like, using a bit too much? Did he actually need to? Doesn't matter. They won that team fight decisively, and this is now going from bad to worse, because we always said, remember, Middlecart, at the very beginning, we said, Burning Core will outscale. Like, they will outscale Rascal Jester, and Rascal Jester's early game was pretty solid. They almost had Dragon Soul. They're still on Soul Point, but Dice is now 17.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
Flawless is 16. Stuff. Like what? Like multiple members, dude. Like what? What do you do?
It's really gross. Recap is at 4 items though. It is the tank price, so it does a little bit less damage. Soul is also accelerated towards that 4 item point very, very soon.
Very true.
He's going to be wishing that he did have those 4 items though, as Burning Core starting up that Baron, baiting out the Super Mega Death Rocket and just going to walk away. This is so clean from them. They understand that they don't really need to do anything. They could just wait for Rascal Jester to face check into them, and they've spotted them out. Initial engage comes through. The Requiem takes away half of Soul's HP as Fujimoto will actually be the first kill of the fight. That's a reset for the Jinx, but it's not going to matter as she gets deleted right afterwards. Ray Farkey's axe is hungry for blood, and Yuhi takes out the cow. Hatchemetcha will fall for a double, and now Recap is just trying to proxy the way, but I don't think he's going to be allowed to do it. Chased down, apprehended, pulled back in. Call the police, call an ambulance, but not for Ray Farkey. Recap does just get out. The bleed is not quite going to be enough.
Oh my god, he has to actually pop it. No, because the bleed was going to actually be enough.
Oh no, this means that Ray Farkey had an extra 2.5 seconds to chase him down and take him out, and all the meantime, Flawless and Yuhi were duoing this Baron. Burning Core have come alive in the later stages of this game, and they're looking to close it out.
I mean, Baron number 2, Dice already knocking on the front door of the base now, looking to pop that first inhibitor as we come over to this replay. Valiant effort from the side of Soul there. Fantastic way to actually kind of see and get a vague idea, because you do get vision for a very brief moment, but we're into this team fight again.
Oh, I was drinking some water, but it doesn't look like Rascal Jester are going to be able to walk out of that one with Flawless grabbing that kill. Salol is stepping up, and Hachimecha gets rooted. Takes a lot of damage, actually. The Gale Force, not quite enough to take him out, but the Leandri's burn will also not quite do the job. This does hand over a lot more pressure to Burning Core. So he just kind of auto-soul in his face, forces the cleanse away from the Jinx, and now Dice looking for the AD carry. Flashes on top of him! Oh, that was so BM. Dice knew that he didn't have the ultimate, but didn't even care, because Burning Core cleans up the rest of this fight. A keeper's verdict to knock away a couple of minions, and it's not gonna matter in the end. Rascal Jester's had a great start to this game. They were making so many proactive plays, but Burning Core, they played it smart, they waited patiently, exploded in the mid game, and take out the Jester's Nexus.
I'm slightly flabbergasted.